This is the Drew Experience Show, the show that is 80% combat sports and 20% everything else. The show is brought to you by a few things. First of all, KRT, Karate Tips and Tricks, with senseis Darren Stringer and Wesley Jensen, bringing together the minds of all Kyokushin, Shotokan, you name it, and stand-up martial arts during the pandemic in order to raise the bar of any discipline martial arts has. KRT Tips and Tricks. Also brought to you by the Kyokushin Shuffle podcast, where Sensei Patrick Pinto is getting all the minds of any martial art together to show why people should take martial arts regardless and how it can make them a better person. Also, he is the author of Forever the Student, picking the greatest minds of karate, kickboxing, to see how they excel at their craft. And finally, Moments Management. If you're an up-and-coming MMA fighter and you need a good manager, Moments Management will be the management company that takes care of you. Where Nima Safapur, who's represented Gegard Mousasi, Alex Gustafson, Costello Van Stennis, and Pani Kianzad, will educate you on how to save, invest your money during your fight career, and understand how long your fight window is in order to succeed and become a champion. Moments Management, where care and quality come first. But today is most important. I have a really big guest, so Boker Tov from Israel. I wanted to get this guest on for a while because, being a Jew myself, I believe people should know that the Jewish people have had a very big history in combat sports, whether it is boxing, Greco wrestling, and judo, but also karate, especially the style I do. So he is one of the most accomplished senseis that represents IFK out of Israel. I am honored to have I am so honored. Oh my gosh, it's such a big name because for Israeli martial arts, I am so honored to have Sensei Itzik Ashkenazi. Welcome, Sensei.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm became Sheehan.
Oh, excuse me. I
Yes.
apologize. I hope it doesn't.
It's okay, but I always will be sensei.
Perfect. And how's everything? How is everything down in Israel right now?
Okay, we have a very difficult here,
Mhm.
like in all over the world. Everything is still closed here, but just this week we start to open a little bit shops and things like that because we have the injections in Israel for the corona. So many people got it. I got it too, and I hope that in some weeks I can open my dojo and invite my student to go back to normal days.
Awesome. I'm happy to hear that, and I'm happy to see that there is like some good coming finally out of this, because I think what we have seen in this is martial arts are essential, because when you take that away from people, it's very hard for them to find something else and to stay active. Like, I'm just going to speak from my experience. I mean, yes, I understand we've done very well with the Zoom classes,
Yes,
but I don't think that works for me, because the thing is, you have so many screens to look at. So it's not like being in an actual dojo where you have a teacher like you or the other senpais there with you to say, hey, this is how you do this. Hey, do it. But Zoom is like, okay, let's do this. So that's why I just don't like Zoom. So I'm really hoping for you and everyone else that the dojo's open to bring back that sense of community.
yes. I must tell you that this year, I really understand how much my student and the contact between us is strong because I teach all over the year in the Zoom. I teach them in the Zoom, and almost everyone was trained with me,
Mhm.
and it make me feel very good because I understand that they believe in me, they believe in the Kyokushin karate, and we didn't lost each other in this year. We stay together, all the family Kyokushin in Israel.
That's really awesome and beautiful to hear, considering like, and you're not the only one. There's other Shihans or senseis who've done it on Zoom, and they still have their students who are loyal to them. So that just goes to show that the community, even though we cannot be together in person, the sense of community is that everybody can be together in another form.
Yes, yes, it's really like that.
That's awesome. So the first question I have for you is, how did you discover Kyokushin karate being from Israel? Because Israel is known for its grappling martial arts like judo, I've mentioned Olympic Greco wrestling. So what how did you discover Kyokushin?
I think the Karate Kyokushin is very strong in Israel. Um, we are a small country, but we have all the organization of the Kyokushin. We have the IFK, we have the IKO of Matsui, we have Shin Kyokushin of Meduri, we have the KWF, we have Matsushima. So the Kyokushin is really strong here. And all the organization together, we work together, one in a year, two in a year, we make competitions together, and we meet each other, and we are in a good relationship. The competition is something that I really, really miss to do it again.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And how did you discover Kyokushin? Like when you were a child, like how did you, because did you do judo and wrestling at first, or was it always karate you did?
No, I have very long journey in the martial arts. I start when I was 10 years old,
Hmm.
and I start in the Shotokan. And I make some years Shotokan. I train in Shotokan, and then I have to go to join the army. And I was in the army for 3 years. And when I finished the army, I look again for the martial art, and I start to do Kempo Jitsu. That
Hmm.
this was a system of mixing martial art. We do judo, jiu-jitsu, boxing, wrestling. We make a Brazilian jiu-jitsu. It was look like today make the UFC,
Hmm.
and I do it for 13 years, and I got my third dan in this system, and I like it very much. I like the judo, I like the jiu-jitsu. But then, when I make my certificate for a coach in martial arts, I met a master in Karate Do. And this master told me that I must choose one thing and teach only this, and not to make like you say, a big salad from your teaching. So I was feeling very close to the karate, and in these days, I hear that Enshi Arnil is looking for another one to be his son in Israel. And I send him my resume, and after some months, he invite me to London. I fly to Enshi, and I was being with him and train with him, and it was very, very quickly a good contact between us. And um, and from this day, from it was before 22 years, and from this day I start to teach the Kyokushin of the IFK. And I remember that I told Henshi that I'm sorry that I didn't know him before, but he said to me that it's good that I didn't know him before, because I learned many things, and they will help me to be a better teacher, and they will help me to feel that now this is what I want to do, the Kyokushin.
That's amazing. It seems Hanshi has a really good way of making people feel good about themselves. He makes them feel valued.
Yes, yes, very much. When I met Anshi, I really feel that in the first time of my life, I met, like you say, a master, something that is above everyone. And until today, I feel to him that he is the one and the only one.
He's really done such a good job. And, yes, now he's going to be stepping down because in your 80s, it's like when I had another Sheehan on my show, he said it best. He's like, when you're a fifth or sixth Dan, okay, you're there, to do the tournaments. You're there to like host the tournaments, like, be like the face, like you're supposed to be there, be like the ambassador. And then when you're a seventh or eighth or ninth Dan and a seventh and Dan or above, it's kind of time to consider like what's gonna happen for the next part of my life and find the successor or successors that will lead the organization.
Yes, I respect him very much for what he done, that he gave to Sheehan David, now the leadership and the control in the IFK. I think that you have to be very brave and a great man to do something like that, and not to hold your position and until the day that you are not here. So this would make and she really great, and it's not and really really special for all over the world, I think.
I think so. And look what he's done. Like, I mean, not only IFK is in Israel, you have IFK in the Arab world too, like in say Jordan, Iran, Saudi Arabia, probably. And what's really good is like, it's so important what he's done because he's basically showing that it doesn't matter what country you come from, the politics is never going to exist. Because, like, for example, like when I spoke with Scott from the Marshall Way blog, he was telling me, like, he's like, listen, he's like, don't listen to what the media tells you. He's like, because in IFK, he's like, the Iranians compete with the Israelis. They don't care about if they're who the flag is. They just want to compete. It's not about that. And I think that's what Hanshi's done such a good job at. He's done a good job at saying, you're not politicians, you're martial artists. So be a
Yeah,
martial artist.
yeah. Hanshi always say to me, no politics here. And I can see it, when I saw the coaches from Iran and from Kuwait and from Lebanon and from and the Turkish, we always speak together. We are good friends. We shake hands. We respect each other, and there is really no politics between us. Only the love to the karate and respect for each other.
Yeah, it's very beautiful. I love it because like I really think that's why I always say like martial arts brings everybody together because we're wearing the same uniform with the kanji. So I think that's what makes it very important that we can't limit our beliefs because of one country and because that country could teach us something. Like, for example, if you want to learn power, well, I want to learn it from the Iranians because they are so strong with their history of wrestling and being warriors. If you
Right.
want to learn how to be like if you want to learn how to be like a smart fighter, well, I think Iran would go to Israel to like and come to you and be like, hey, Itzik, you guys have very good fight IQ. How can we learn? And then you'll say, you know what, I want to learn how you guys have power. And I think it just makes that conversation and it gets bigger and bigger. And then at the end of the day, everybody's just talking and sharing ideas. And I think that's what's most important.
Yes, it's really great. It's really great to see all the IFK people from all over the world, and I always feel like we are like a big family together. And I'm really proud to be part of the IFK in the world. It's wonderful.
It really is. It's really like such a great organization in terms of what they have done. I have to give like a big shout out to other guys like such as Sensei Steve Fogarazzi in Canada of Kicks, who's done such a good job of being the president of IFK Canada. Sensei Michael Zimmerman as well. I'm sure you know Michael Zimmerman. He actually lived in Israel for a bit before.
Yes, yes, yes. My first, the first coach that came from the IFK to Israel was Shihan that you have in your program before some weeks, and Shihan was wonderful. I learned so much from him, and then many people came to Israel. Shihan Jinin, and from Russia, Shihan Tanushkin and Shihan Famin, and Shihan David was here in Israel, and from everyone we learn a lot, and my students always enjoy very much that when I bring a guest to Israel from the big IFK.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's just yeah, Wybrow. Well, Wybrow was not on my program, but but I know who he is. He was on Wesley's
Yeah.
and Darren's program.
Ah, okay,
Yeah.
okay. I was sure that he was in your program too.
No, but you know who I had? I had Sheehan Felix on my program, and Sheehan Felix was
I
that
know him. I know Shihan Felix. Yes, a big guy.
big heart too. Very like
Yes,
such an amazing human being too.
yes, big strong guy. I remember him.
So so I want to ask you, obviously Israel is known for being a very strong country in its military, but in sports they have a very strong basketball team and very strong basketball, very good baseball. But when it comes to martial arts, how come we haven't had like, well, not we, even though I'm Jewish, but how come Israel hasn't had that star like that George St. Pierre or that Conor McGregor? What do you think is holding Israel back from becoming a superpower for martial arts, Shian?
Yeah, I can speak about myself. I have many good fighters in my dojo,
Mhm.
and sometimes I can see a student in the age of 16 or 17, and then I said, "Wow, this one can be a champion." Um, I remember that in 2005, it was my first time that I go to the Open British. And I came there like a guest, and I look and I say, "Why, this is very high level, and I must work with my student to become in this level." And I really work hard. And in 2011, my student became the first place in the championship of the world in the IFK of women until the age of 18. She take the golden medal. And then I understand that if with good work we can do things. And from this day we start to take part in many competitions in the world, and sometimes we get the medal. But I think the big problem is that most of the time I lose my good student in the age of 18 to the army.
Mm.
And in Israel, when you go to the army, if you go good uniform, then sometimes they're going back to me, but
Mhm.
almost it's always very late for
Mhm.
this 3 4 years. It's make a big change in the world, and I think that this is one of the problem. But I can say that in competition in children and teenager, I got some medals all over the world. I still have the problems to do it with the over 18, above 18, because like I say, when I get my student back to me from the army in the age of 21, 22, it's not the same person, and his ideas, his thinking is not the same, and
Mhm.
it's like that. But we have to deal with this. We have to deal with this. If we became an Olympic sport like the judo, so if you are training in an Olympic sport and you come to the age that you have to go to the army, the country help you and give you a simple life in the army that you can train. They give you more time and everything. But if you are not in an Olympic sport, the country will not help you, not with money, and not to help you train in these 3 4 years. So this is one of my big problems.
That makes sense. I understand completely because karate is not. was supposed to be an Olympic sport finally in these Olympics, but I don't know what's going on with that. But the thing is, there's so many styles of karate. Like you have Kyokushin, you have Shotokan, you have Kempo, you have the Ryu styles. So it's kind of hard to see which karate is going to really be in the Olympics. And I think if it was in the Olympics, whether that's if they put, let's say, okay, we have Kyokushin style and Shotokan style, I think it would make it easier. And then that way you would be able to keep your students that turn 18. And in the sense, they would be able to balance that training. But yes, I think the Army does change people in terms of how they see the world and how they see combat. And so for you, like, do you believe, like, when it comes to this, because of the Army, that you're like, okay, this is the period I have to make my students really good from, like, say 10 to 18, and then after that I have to look for the next best one that's in the 10 to 18 before they go to the Army? Is that how it's been because of the situation?
Yes, I think that this is the situation in Israel. You know, always after the army, when they go back, most of the time they go back to training karate, but they want to train for themselves,
Hmm.
not like a sportsman, not to go to competitions all over the world. Uh, I think that not to do karate for 3 4 years and then to go back, it's very hard after that to be a sportsman. I think because really many students that start with me and go to the army and go back, and almost everyone go back after the army. They go back to my dojo. They feel that my dojo is like the second house that they have, but they come to train with me. They come to continue with what they start, but not to be a champion.
Hmm. Hmm. That's understandable. It changes, yeah, like as you get older, and it's the same thing now, minus the Army part. I want to make that clear. But in Canada, you have some students that leave the dojo, but then they come back, but they're not doing it to compete, or they just want to do it for themselves. And then people say, oh, well, you used to be a champion, you used to, but they don't. They always say, like, stop. They'll be like, stop, you know, bringing that part about me up. I've done that. I'm not here to compete anymore. If they want, and like, and it kind of like, in a sense, like, they feel, I wouldn't say, what's the word? They don't. It's like they don't want to talk about it. It's like they want to keep that to themselves. And I get it, but at the end of the day, I like to say, if you were a champion or if you competed, share your knowledge, because if you know you're not going back, that knowledge is going to be useful for the next generation coming up.
Yes, yes, I agree with you. I agree with you. Some of them help me to teach, yes, but they don't find the energy to become a champ and to start train every day for hours. Because I know I can understand this. Most of the people in Israel, it's like a standard. You know, you finish the army, then you go to college, to university, and then you start organize your life. In Israel, you grow up very early. You became an old man very early, because if in the age of 18 you get a gun and they let you to decide, they let you the choice to go to the war, and you can kill people, you can be dead in yourself, you know, and just before some months you be in high school and think stupid things. In the age of 18 you have to stop everything, to stop your life, and to go to for 3 years into the army, and to become a man very quickly, and to decide sometimes very hard decisions in the army, you know. So when you go out in the age of 21, I don't think that always, you don't think now I will be a championship. You start to think how I will build my life, how I will make money, and things like that.
It's very true. No, like, because when I was in Israel, because I've been to Israel 4 times, and one of them was on my for the birthright trip, where like Jews from around the world go to Israel, like and like when we met the soldiers or the Israelis, like it's a different mentality from what the North American Jews have. They're very stoic. So stoic means like they've seen life, like they understand the importance of maturing very fast. Like some of them said, like it's like, listen, it's like, yes, we like to party, but it's like, it's we don't think the same way you guys do. It's like we have to really think like, what are we gonna do at 21? And as you said, it's so important. He's like, whereas like you guys have time to think until like 25, even 30. It's like us. It's like we have to really think fast because it's a different. It's a state of mind that's different from down there.
Yes, I must tell you, my father is not is he died before 5 years. But when I finished the army, and I continued train, and I go to competitions, and my dream was to be karate teacher and to teach. And my father always say, "This is not a job to teach karate." What do you mean to teach karate? It's not a job. It's like a hobby, but it's not a job. And he wants me to go to the university. And my father was a businessman. He wants me to work with him. And for me, it was very hard, But I was very strong in my mind, and it was like a big war between me and my father. What I will do in my life. And but I really wanted. And I remember that when I start working teaching karate, um, I couldn't support myself, and I have to work in many other jobs,
Hmm.
But after 10 years in working in karate, and today this summer I will be 56, and I can say proudly that I can support my family from only teaching Kyokushin karate. And this is my life. This is my way. I wake up in the morning to teach karate and to, to, be, to let people to believe in Kyokushin karate. And so I feel really, I will say, uh, I feel that it's really good for me that I can work and support myself with the big thing, with my life, with the big thing in my life that I'm love. And this is really a gift from, I don't know, maybe some people say that it's a gift from God, but to wake up in the morning and go work with the love of your life, it's really good. It's really good.
Which part of Israel are you in? Are you in Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, or the north or the south?
I am in the center. I'm in a I'm something like 40 minutes from Tel Aviv.
Okay.
Okay, I'm close to the sea. Yes, my place is called the city that I live called Kfar Yona. It's like this is the name of my city. So it's really in the center and close to the sea. Yes, and
Awesome.
I'm 1 hour from Jerusalem. I'm 2 hours from the last point in the north, and something like 4 hours from the south. We have a really small country. You can fly with airplane and to finish it with 1 hour.
Yes, for sure. Like I remember, there's like the airports like that for Eilat. Like there's the airport in Tel Aviv. Like well, you could take it's Ben Gurion. You go to Ben Gurion. You say I want to go to Eilat. You take like a little flight to Eilat because the car ride is like 5 hours, and I'm not taking a 5 hour car ride looking at the desert. So I'll take a plane
Yes,
for an hour. Yeah, for me, like I love the north. That's my favorite part. I love like Haifa, with the Druzy
yes,
village. I love. Okay, so there's a Druzy village that I went to, and I have to say, Labane, and I'm gonna probably make a lot of enemies in Israel from this, but I have to admit, the Druzi to all the Israel to the Israelis. Listen, you make good labane, but the Druzis they have a step up on you. The Druzis make the best labane I've ever tasted.
For sure, yes, yes, for sure. I every Friday I have one Druzi woman that I go to her and buy from her hummus and some things, but they are really the best. It's okay.
Yeah, there's a village I have a picture when I went with my dad, and the cutest old man. Like they are such a nice people. Like, and it's like they're so hospitable. They make
Yes,
they make you feel at home, and I'll never
yes.
forget it. Like I like my parent, like my when I was with my dad and my stepmom, like they were like I gave him a tip, like another tip in my, and they're like, we gave him a good tip. Why'd you tip him more? And then they're like, and I'm like, he was so good. And they're like, okay, you know what? Yeah, we like this. You know what? Give him a little extra. So we became his favorite customers for probably the month and the year of 2011. So
Yes,
very,
they are good people, and some of them going to the army, and they are very good soldiers.
they are, and
Yes,
there's just that's what I love about the North too. There's so many minorities. Like you have the Druzi, you have the Baha'i, you have like, and I find what I like about the North, it's kind of like if you've ever been to not Los Angeles but San Diego, that's what the north of Israel reminds me of. It's kind of like, Tel Aviv is like the main city. You have Jerusalem for the history, but then you have
yes.
the North, which is kind of like you want to get away, just be in the quiet. I
You're
love it.
right. You're right. Yes, yes. In the north, it's an area that Jewish and Arabic live together very good. Yes, you're right. You're really right
And
to
not many
say.
people know about that. Like, and that's what I want to say, like the North, like they live in harmony. They don't care. There's no issues, like it's like I could go into, like, there's Arab shops, there's the Jewish shops together, and it's nice, and like they don't care. They just,
Yes, yes, you're right. Yes, you're right. Yes.
and Haifa too is like the center of techno. I think Haifa, it's a technological city. Like a lot of engineers go there. It's a very,
Yes, yes. Haifa, yes, and they have there the port for ships and things like that. Yes, it's a big city, and it's a city that built from some level. There is the low city and the high city,
yeah.
and it's a very beautiful city. Yes, when I was a child, I was going a lot with my family to Haifa, and always we have the same Arabic restaurant to eat lunch there. Yes.
It's just I think it's such a beautiful part of the country. Then when people say, well, what do you think of the South? It's like, I don't like, if I'm going to Eilat, that's fine. But if I'm going to Beersheba, no comment. I do not like the South. And then everyone's like, why do you hate the South? It's too hot. There's a level of hot. There's like, I can handle the heat in Jerusalem. I can handle the heat in Tel Aviv, and I can handle the heat in the North. But the South, no.
I can understand you because I'm not a man of the sun. I hate the hot. I I don't enjoy very much in the summer, and everybody say to me that I have to born in another country that they have a very big winter and not like in Israel. You're right. It's very hot here in the summer. Yes.
The best is like, because when you do these organized trips, we go to Mount Masada, and you have to wake up at like 4 a.m. to watch the sunrise, and I'm just like, it's like come on, it's like I don't want to wake up at that time. I just want to sleep a bit. Let me sleep in until 6. Give me a coffee. Don't be like, okay, we gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta wake up. Okay, you gotta wake up. We're gonna go. And then you hear, like, you have like the like some of like you have like some of the Israelis. They're like Boker Tov, Boker Tov. It's time to go to Masada. Take your coffee, drink your water, and it's like, that's why.
Yes, I can understand you. I live in this country and I was in these places like once in my life. I don't travel a lot in Israel, I can say. And
I'm
if I travel, it's for the north. It's to the north,
yeah,
not to the south.
I'm the same way. Like for example, like my stepmom. So to my stepmom Diane, who like I love like a second mother. Like Diane, sometimes she'd be like, "No, we're going to the south." I'm not going. Okay, do you want to stay at the hotel? Yeah, I'm gonna stay at the hotel, or I'm gonna just go around Tel Aviv, or just send me to the north. Okay, yeah. And then my dad would understand too. Like he's like, I'm not going to the south either. He's like, if you want to go with your friends, you can go. He's like, I'm gonna stay in Tel Aviv with Andrew. So yeah, it's like it's just it's there's just levels to this heat that I can take. Like listen, like it's like I don't have the the Sephardi gene to stand that heat. I have the Ashkenazi gene where it's like I kind of like stay in. So so to all my Sephardi brothers and sisters, like I give you credit, and I wish I had that gene to withstand the sun and heat, because honestly, you guys have a some of like this. I'm telling you, like it's not to sound mean, but the Sephardis have a superpower to
Yes,
understand the heat. And it's
yes.
like I wish I had it. I want to know, like, give me, I don't know, do I need to take do I need to take an injection to get some of those genetics going? Because I mean, I'd love to go to the south if I have that gene, but usually I don't like it. That's why I don't like the south. So it's my Ashkenazi side in me. That's why.
Yes, yes, I can understand that.
So now, so obviously, you've seen a lot in terms of Kyokushin karate for Israel, and every year, as you become older, what do you want your legacy as a Sheehan to be?
Wow, it's a big question.
Yeah.
um, when I go into my dojo and I look on my adult group, and I can imagine them in the age of 5, and
Mhm.
now some of my students, when they start train with me, they were 5 years old, and now they are parents to children, and they still with me. So I really hope, I always say, there is something that we make birthdays together in the dojo, and I always say that I wish to myself and to them to continue celebrate their birthday for many, many, many years. I don't know if what will be after I finish teaching. I hope that one of my students maybe one day wants to come to my dojo and to continue what I'm doing, what the work that I'm doing. But I still feel very strong and young to teach many, many years. I look on Henshi, and he is my dream, in his age to still teaching.
Mhm.
And and I hope that what I can say, I hope that my dojo will continue work strong, and I have more and more students. And that's it. All you have to do is to be with a good energy, to be healthy, and just to do it. Yes, I think that the karate is something wonderful. I didn't believe that this will be my life there, because when I was 10 years old and my father told me that I have to go to karate, my father was a very tough Bulgarian man. He was born in Bulgaria, and he was thinking that I have to learn karate, that it will make me a strong child, and small, and like I can protect myself. And I remember that I didn't like to go to the dojo when I was a boy, a child. I didn't like. I really afraid. I afraid from the box, from the kicks. I was afraid to get hurt, and like that I start. But after some years, I feel like it's make me special,
Mhm.
and my friends start to act to me like he is special. Karate, he's strong. We can, and now it's and in the years it's became my dream to teach other children, not the strong ones, the one that afraid, the one that feels small, the one that with the glasses in school, or with the red hair in school, the one that everyone in school give them, I will say, a punch or something. I want to teach these kids, these children, and make them strong, make them to believe themselves. And I feel that I do it. I feel that I do it. And I hope very much that one of my students will continue do it after I will go for a better place.
No, I really definitely agree because I think, like what with martial arts, what it teaches you is that it teaches everybody that you do have a place in society to contribute to. And we see this in Israel where everybody, like, there's that understanding, there's that mutual respect between the Jews and the Arabs. But in Montreal, like, I don't want to, like, put a negative light on like what I see in the Jewish community, but in Canada it's a bit different where everybody's in their little cliques, and sometimes they have a way of making people feel alienated, and it's not right. Whereas like what you're doing is you're trying to bring everybody together, and I think that's what martial arts does. And I really think if people did martial arts, whether it's karate, kickboxing, um kickboxing, boxing. I think just being in the gym with anybody, whether they're like, especially like if it's the Jewish community, it doesn't matter what like gang you're with or which people you're with. Like everybody's together, and it's like, yo, and it's only one word. It's only respect, and I think that's going to really bring the Jewish community together to rise them up in terms of like saying like, look, you know what? Why do we have these little gangs? Why do we see differently? You know what? We do the same thing. We do martial arts. So let's all instead of like as the saying goes, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I think you're doing a very good job with that.
Yes, yes, I believe in this. I really believe that I have the best job in the world, you know, that I really can give people the I would say the 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 ability to feel good with themselves and to protect themselves. And I really feel that I have a good job, that I can make people feel better, you know, and to feel better, to feel strong. Uh, and I can see it on my students. I have so many students that I look of them the first day that we met, and after some years, how they act, how they speak, and I said to myself, "Wow, the character really helped them to be a good people, a special people, a strong people." I don't say strong with the muscle, you know. I say strong here because the life is very hard and you have many problems in life. And I really believe that if the karate is with you, you can always, like the wave in the IFK, you can always go above the problem and to solve it and to continue with your life. I really believe it. It's not just a word. I really believe it. When I think to myself in every time in life that I was feeling like this is the hand, or I was feeling very, very in a low place in my life, I always hold the karate, always hold this thing to train, to teach, to learn, and this was my save, and to take me above this problem and to continue. I really believe it. I really believe it.
That's amazing. I totally agree. Like, I think if you really, I always say like, did you ever watch the movie Batman Begins with Christian Bale?
What is the name? I didn't hear.
Batman Begins. It was with Christian Bale. You know the
I,
Batman
I
movie?
think I saw it. I
Okay.
think, yes.
There was a very famous quote. I'm gonna butcher the quote, so I'm gonna get it wrong. But you know what? Let me look it up right now. I'm gonna get. Thank God we have an iPhone for this. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
look up the quote because I do wanna say the quote here. So because it was from Liam Neeson's character Raja Ghul. So that's what I liked. That's what I liked about. Let me get it right here. Uh, hold on here. Let's see. Let me get it here. It was that okay. What it was is like he basically says is if you believe if you go to something and you practice it enough and eventually you believe in it, you become it basically. And that's what I think happens with karate. If you really get into it, if you really strive to be a better person with it, it's not about the muscles, it's about how you forge your mind.
Yes, 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 you're right. Yes, you're right. I can saw it even when many students come with all the 30 years that I teach. A lot of people come to my dojo, but I always say that the good people stay. And and if you don't want to be a good people, if you don't want to be a special, you will not stay. You will continue in your way, and I really believe it. And I look on my student, and I look the way they live their life, and even if they are not continue learning culture and finish with this in the army, but after it, I hear about them, what they're doing in their life. I can see that they always became good people, people that you can hear about good things that they do with themselves, with the family, and everything. And it's not just word. I really believe it. I really believe it.
I definitely agree. I mean, like for me, when I took up Kyokushin, at first, when you come into Kyokushin, everybody wants the black belt. They see the black belt, and then eventually, it's because it's a fashion thing. The black belt looks cool, but then you see what goes into putting into it, and then when I'll never forget it when I spoke with one of my. I love I enjoy every single guest I've had, but there always are going to be a few that really leave an impact on you. And when I hosted Shihan Pierre Cataford from Quebec, when we spoke after recording, he's like, "Why do you want to be a black belt?" And he's like, "Be honest. What does it mean to be a black belt to you?" He's like, "Because he's like, if you were to come to my organization in Nakamura and my school, he's like, I want to make sure you have the right intentions to be a black belt." Because people come, they say, "Oh, I want to be a black belt," and it's like you're gonna quit. He's like, "I already know already you're gonna quit it because you're gonna see what it takes." He's like, "What it means to you?" And I told him my reason, and he's like, "Okay." He's like, "It's gonna be a bit long for you because with what's going on in your life outside of karate." He's like, "But he's like, surround yourself with good people in the art, and no doubt you're going to achieve it, and it will be the most rewarding experience for you. More than," he's like, "I can tell you this." He's like, "Did you like school?" I'm like, "Not really. This is going to be the most rewarding experience for you. You cannot imagine what it's like to get that belt when you
Yes.
finally get it."
Yes, yes. The way the January that you're doing for the black belt is really make from you something. The way, the difficulty in the way, the pains, the days that you have to do things and not always it's success and everything. It's when you got the black belt, you really understand that you do something very special. I remember that when I got my black belt, I sleep with it in the night. I go to bed with my black belt, and like that I fell asleep. I was I was very young, so it's really special to get the black belt in the right way. Yes,
Yes.
to learn and not to do it not to do a short way, to do the right way and really, really to get the black belt in the way that you have to do it. Yes,
Very true, very true. So I obviously want, first of all, and I think that's where we'll conclude it here. So Shihan Itzik, I really want to thank you for coming on the show. It was such an honor to host you finally, and really, as I said, I want to show Kyokushin from around the world, and because even my family in Montreal, they were like, and because I'm Jewish, and they say like, and sometimes they ask me, "Is there anyone that does Kyokushin in the Jewish community?" And I said, "Yes." I said, "I have someone coming on, so just wait." So to my mother Marlene, my stepmother Diane, my brother Joey, and all my step family who are Sephardi. But you know what? I've known them since I was 5. They're like my family. My other family, I want you to know that please watch this episode because This is for all this is for all the tribes members, the Intajok, you're part of the tribe, as we say in English.
Yes.
So please, watch this, support Itzik, whether he's from Israel, because we got to always support our fellow tribesmen. Shihan, where can people connect with you on social media if they ever want to talk to you or like do a Zoom class or yes, what if they want to because I want to make sure you get the support you deserve.
Yes, people can speak with me. We have in the Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
the IFK of Israel, and we have Instagram of IFK Israel,
Mm-hmm.
and so they can write to me, and I go back to them, and in the messenger. In my email, that it's really simple to remember it. My email is one word, karate ifk
Mm-hmm.
gmail.com. Okay, so they can really. I will be happy to teach everyone that want, if he's a Jew or not.
Exactly. It doesn't matter. We're all humans. As I always like to say, we all die in the same grave, in the same grass. So at the end of the day, as you like to say, be a good person no matter what.
Yes, I must tell you that in some place in the world, Russia and Holland and Switzerland and Belarus, they invite me to teach Krav Maga because I know it,
Hmm.
and Krav Maga is Israeli system. So always when I come to teach them, I show them the contact between the Krav Maga and the karate, and because I come from the same world, and so if someone want me to teach in his country, Krav Maga, I will be happy when the sky will open up.
Exactly. Well, once again, Shihan, I thank you so much. I want to wish you, first of all, a happy Purim because Purim recently happened, and now Passover's coming. So have a good have a good
Yes,
Chag Sameach, and I will. And if you ever want to come on
thank
again to
you.
discuss, like martial arts or what you're doing, the door is always open to all my guests. I always want them to know that. So big honor to host you. I'm really thankful we got to do this, and I wish you, your family, your students, and everyone in Israel a good Jewish holiday to come up, and the light is at the end of the tunnel soon. That we will be all together once again.
Thank you very much, and it was really great to speak with you. Thank you very much.
Us.